This is my dad's Yard Machines lawnmower. What if I told you pretty soon I was gonna turn it into a car? Well, you probably wouldn't believe me, so this is why I devised a super serious, totally professional plan of how we're gonna do it. Okay, so someone else drew this, it totally wasn't me, but this is me, here's the mower, plus wrench equals Facebook Marketplace to the power of money. So, get a lawnmower, fix it, sell it on Marketplace, and make bank. Now this lawnmower does run, but it looks a little boring, don't you think? So I went ahead and popped the wheels off so we can make this thing look a lot meaner. So let's go ahead and tape these up. Wheel number 1, wheel number 2. We're not done yet, we're gonna paint them. And can you guess what color? It's red. I only have red.
Spray paint, spray paint.
Oh, that's gonna look good. That is gonna look good. While we wait for it to dry, let's paint this gas cap too.
Spray paint, spray paint. Every spray paint.
For the grand reveal. Oh, these look absolutely. Let me get the rest of the tape off. Oh, those look so good. Now let's install these bad puppies. Pop the back one on. Front. Ooh. Look at that. This thing looks way better than I thought it would. And I forgot to tell you guys, I also added a red handle, but I feel like it's still missing something. The final touch. That thing looks like $1,000,000. Now I'm just gonna take some degreaser to make sure this thing looks spotless for when I post it on Marketplace. All right, so I've got good news and bad news. I'll start with the good news. Good news is I posted an ad on Facebook Marketplace, and within that day, someone asked if they could come pick it up. We scheduled for Sunday, it's now Saturday today, and I went to go start up the mower just to give her a little awakening. Blade started spinning, everything sounded good, and then I hear a big clunk, right? And you see how that bolt snapped? It literally snapped and fell off. My plan to fix it is I'm gonna take the blade off this mower and slap it on that one. But I've only got like an hour to do it, so I gotta get to work. Okay, I didn't film this because I was in like a severe rush, but I was able to get a drill bit in there, and I've drilled a pilot hole. Now I just gotta get like an easy out or like a left-handed drill bit in there so I can actually fully get this bolt out. But I now have to run to a job that I'm doing today, so I won't be able to film till later tonight. And the buyer is literally coming tomorrow, so this needs to happen like right now. Holy smokes, I have been working at this for like almost 2 hours. I got home at like 6, it's now like 7:50-ish. And finally it's coming out. Come on. Oh, look at that. Honestly, it looks pretty good. Okay, there we go. Okay. This is the moment of truth. Oh, God. Pretty sure there's a key that keeps this on. And this is really rusty. It's going to be hard to get off, but I need to swap the whole thing onto here because, as you can see, that piece is severely broken. I'm literally going to take this whole entire engine off of the deck so that I can access that thing. Okay, that motor came off pretty easy, but now it's time to get to this thing. Get this thing on the table. Okay, we're gonna try a few methods. Yeah, it's not coming off. It is now 12 o'clock at night, and after countless hours, this part just isn't budging. So I don't think I'll be able to sell the motor tomorrow, but I have ordered the part in the mail, and it should be here in the next week or two. I did let the guy know that I ordered a new part, and if he's still interested, I'll totally sell him the mower, but fingers crossed. It's just a shame because this thing looks so sweet. Okay, little update. I've got the part, nice and shiny. The only thing is, the top of this is mushroomed, as you can see. So I've got to file it down so it fits, and in there is a little mangled up too. After loads of finagling, this puppy is snug on there. Now, I do have a blade. Now, as soon as I get this blade sharpened, it is gonna cut amazing. Look at the edge on that. I've got my totally professional, totally not sunglasses, safety glasses on. And,
grind.
Now, a bit of time has passed since I had to give the tools back to my neighbor, but if you can see in there, that blade is sharp. I tested it out on the lawn. She cuts, and I gave her a nice polish. I spoke to the buyer, and he said he's going to be coming at like 10 in the morning, which is perfect. I can wake up in the morning, roll this thing out front, and sell it to him right off the bat. I'm not going to stick the freaking camera in his face or anything like that. Maybe he'll set it up in the carport, but we're going to be selling this thing tomorrow. Guess who just sold a lawnmower? I'll wait. I know you can guess. It's pretty easy. Guess who just sold a lawnmower? I did. It was me. I did it. It was this morning. Freaking guy came. It was amazing. Gotta love it. Close the door behind you. Don't let it hit you on the way out. I sold a motherfucking lawnmower for 135 smackaroonies added to that car budget. Now, I think it's about time we get started on our next project. Now, this next project is for someone who might not have the money yet to buy a lawnmower right off the bat. And if that's the case, don't buy one super cheap, because you might have to spend a couple bucks just to get it running. Now, let me let you in on a little secret. Ask around. Maybe someone's got a couple machines that just need fixing up, and you'll do it for them for a pretty penny. And then you take that money after and buy a lawnmower to make some big bucks. And who knows, you might even get lucky and they just didn't put gas in it. I mean, I doubt that's the case with this one, but it's always worth a shot. Now let's see if we get lucky, shall we? Alright, let's see what's wrong with this thing. Has spark. So let's check out that carb, see what's going on with it. So far she's kind of gunked up, but I don't see any major dirt and grime inside the carb. Now the carb wasn't too dirty, but I went ahead and gave her a clean and reinstalled it. Let's see if she fires up. Oh, she wants to go. It's just this idle screw. Let's go for a half turn. Oh, still doesn't want to idle. So I played around with the carb a little bit. She's idling good now. So that's one saw done and one more to go. Now that I've pulled this carburetor off for the second saw, it's pretty clear that it's probably going to be a little dirty on the inside. Now I fully cleaned the carb on the second saw, but it was pretty clear it wasn't getting any spark. So I checked the ignition cable and it is definitely broken. I mean, look at that. And it's also missing an air filter. So I let the guy know and he's going to order both the parts and drop them off whenever he can. Now for some even better news. I found a guy on Marketplace selling 2 chainsaws and 2 lawnmowers for only $160. Even if I just sell one lawnmower, I'm gonna make a profit immediately. The guy is here. Sorry, what was that? Do you hear a smacking deal? An absolute deal of the century? For 160 smackaroonies, I got 2 lawnmowers, 2 chainsaws, and this one, let me turn it on. First pull. First freaking pull. All right. I think this is going to be a good day. I'm not sure where to start first, so let's let the bow decide. The rules are if we hit any brown, we start with the chainsaw. But if we hit any of the other colors, we start with one of the lawnmowers. Let's go. It's brown. Looks like we're doing a chainsaw. Heads is red, tails is dark. Where is it? Where is it? That is heads. Now this should be super simple because I fixed the exact same thing on the saw from yesterday and it was super easy. Okay, to save you a little time, I'm just gonna summarize what has happened in the last like 2 hours. So I completely tore apart both of these saws. This one needs 3 like inexpensive parts and it'll work fine. This one, I'm gonna worry about it later because I don't know if I'm gonna be able to find the gas tank for it, and I'm not sure if it'll run smoothly. It does run, but I'm probably gonna have to tear the carb apart, and I'm not really wanting to do that right now. So, moving on from the saws, and I'm moving onto this lawnmower here. Pretty sure it'll start first bolt. So I went ahead and took these wheels off because you guessed it, I'm gonna spray paint them. And you're also probably gonna guess that it's gonna be red, which I think is gonna look super good. I mean, it's got a red deck, it's got a red sticker, and pretty much everything else is black. So with these black tires and a red rim, that's gonna look super good. Just like last time, I went ahead and washed up and dried these wheels so I can spray paint them red.
Spray paint, spray paint, spray paint.
Now the finish on these is looking pretty darn good, but before we put them on, I want to touch up a few areas around the deck. I'm just going to give her a little here and there, and I think it'll pull the mower together. So I went ahead and scuff sanded literally anything that I could find that needed a little bit of a touch up. All right, that paint is nice and dry, and it's looking pretty sexy, I will say. Let's see what it looks like with the freaking wheels on. So good news and bad news. Let's start with the bad news, then let's make you happy with the good news. Just like the last mower, this little blade adapter broke, right? You know, that's fine. That's usually a simple fix. But, blade's fine, but if you check under here, as you can see, there is a chunk, a sizable chunk out of the side of that crank rod. Now, I'm going to be honest, I haven't picked up the camera at all for the past day, and I think that was a great decision because of how much stuff I was able to get done, and I'm so excited to show you guys. And to make sure that red beast looks good, we got some black spray paint to spray paint the handlebars. Because believe me, they need a better finish. So without further ado, let's get this puppy sanded down. No homo. It is now 10:16 at night, and I had to wait that long because I got my hands on a pressure washer. We're going to make these wheels look spiffy. And not to mention, we're going to tear the old paint off this thing with the power of the washer.
Spray paint. Spray paint.
I gotta be quiet because the fam's sleeping, but look at that.
Matte black on black on black. We painted every single wheel last night, every wheel cover, and the front bumper. Not to mention the little side cover and the handlebars. Now, we just gotta tackle this thing. Pressure washer didn't quite take off the paint, but a little sandpaper, a little love will do it some justice, and we will paint it red again. This thing will look amazing. Now, a lot of you probably know this, but for those who don't, you take your old spray cans, so definitely empty. Definitely empty. You take them, you put the bottom up to some flame. Now, this might look sketchy because these do have the little exploding logo on it, and they're flammable, but as long as you don't keep them on too long, you shouldn't have to worry. Now, this was completely empty before, and you can usually take it. Ooh, that's hot. Ow, that's really hot. I get a couple more sprays. Usually it works, but I've done it a couple times, as you can see. That one's kind of toast. Now, this lawnmower with the red paint is looking absolutely stunning. All there's left to do is spray paint this back piece. And I don't have any more red spray paint left, so I'm going to have to do it in black. But I still think it's going to look just as great. Oh, spray paint. Oh, spray paint. You look so good. You look so shiny. As I knew you would. I mean,
Spray paint.
oh yeah.
Spray paint.
That looks
Spray
a lot better.
paint.
That looks way better. Now we might as well do the sides too.
Wow. Spray paint. Spray paint. Spray paint.
And now it's time for these beautiful, beautiful black wheels. Oh my goodness. These are gonna look freaking sweet. Look at that, ladies and gentlemen. I got the handlebars put on, the wheels put on, everything's together. This thing is starting to look freaking sweet. And it's not only the looks. This thing starts first pull, cuts brilliantly, and the self-propel works. It practically pulls you across the lawn. It is awesome. Did you see that? I had a finger on it. A finger on it. Now I threw this thing up on Marketplace for $325, and I think it's gonna sell quick because I've seen a couple sell for just under that, and they were literally in terrible condition, rusted through deck and everything. And with only $160 invested into this thing, we are gonna make some absolute banger profit. But now it's time to move on to the next project, and this one is gonna be absolutely perfect for what I wanna do. Now I just got this 6 horsepower John Deere for an unbeatable price. 100% free. Now the guy said the only thing wrong with it is this primer bulb right here, which has a hole. Now he also said that he's been looking for that part forever and he can't find it because they don't make them anymore. But I'm sure I'll be able to find something that fits. Now this mower's a lot like the last. It's got 2 handlebars, which means it's self-propelled, and it's got 3 speeds. Now I did just try starting it, but I'm gonna show you guys, it doesn't start. That does sound promising though. Now it's time to get this thing cleaned up. We're gonna try to see if this thing will run. A little bit of brake clean down the intake. That's a good sign. Could be one of 2 things. It could be the carburetor getting all gummed up, or
Is this primer bulb, which, I mean, I'm pretty sure it is. I can hear leaks in it.
Now the last time I picked up the camera, I was beginning to diagnose what is wrong with this beautiful, beautiful John Deere push lawnmower. And I've concluded that it is the carburetor. I mean, it had a big hole in it. I also went ahead and ordered a new primer bulb because, I mean, it was going to be needed to replace anyway. It had some big cracks in it. Now you're probably wondering, where am I? You see, while I was waiting for parts, I got super bored and didn't know what to do. So I got a little carried away. Built my whole entire carport into a small engine shop. I've got everything you could need. Got this fantastic table with tons of space for me to work on lawnmowers. And right beside it, I've got a nice little bench for doing small little things or even just storing parts. You turn around from there, I've got all the tools you could ever need for building a lawnmower. And most importantly, a sound system. Alright, yeah, enough yapping about the shop. Although it's pretty cool, I need to get working on this lawnmower. First things first, let's take the carb off. I mean, we're gonna replace it anyway. Carbobulator bolt 1. Got the Death Gripper 2.0s. Alright, now time to yank that pull start off. And by yank, I mean gently take off. Because we don't want to have to wait for any more parts. Alright, I'm a little confused because this one's a 6mm and this one's a 7mm. And to get this coil off, the 6 is too small. But when I put the 7 on, it is way, way too big. I'm a little confused. I'm just gonna try a bunch of sockets till one works, but that's a little confusing. Alright, that actually didn't take too long. It's a 1/4. Now I'm usually using millimeters, so I didn't even think about that, but then I reached in my little socket drawer, and turns out that's exactly what it is. Now before absolutely tearing the carburetor off, I probably should have checked the coil because it's a little bit rusty, and as you can see, I'm not sure if that's normal. I've never really seen that before, and there's a little bit on the other side too. So I'm gonna hit a quick Google, see if that's normal, and then if it is, I'll sand them down. If not, I'll order some. So after having a quick Google, just as I thought, that right there, definitely not gonna cut it. Probably why the mower wasn't running in the first place, let alone the hole in the carb. So I'll order another one of these. I'm just tightening these head bolts down. Freaking holy crap. This old electric hand drill, 21 volt max. Freaking, this thing's the best drill. Oh my God. This thing's got a surprising amount of torque for a little puppy like that. Oh, this one's definitely not. This one needs a little electric hand drill action. Okay. Now, after breaking my wrist, we got this head put back on. We got the springs put in, and we're just about to set the valve timing once we get these rocker thingy-mabobbers on. But it should be pretty simple. I have it at top dead center, so I assume that's where it's got to be. I don't know. I'll double check. But if you can see, I'm not going to show you yet, but if you can see, as a little teaser, I have a few things over there that I may or may not have gotten for free. While I was inside there was a ton of carbon deposit on top of the piston. So I took this brass wire wheel to the top of it, and now it's sparkling clean. This thing's gonna run a whole lot better now because of that. We're pretty much done everything that we can do with this mower until we get the parts. So we're gonna put it away from now, and I'm gonna show you guys the surprise. Last guy we purchased on Marketplace from gave us a free lawnmower and 2 free weed whackers because he's an absolute G. Now we're gonna ignore the weed whackers and just focus on the lawnmower right now because I have a really good plan. And it may or may not involve a special little red lawnmower with a broken crank rod. But first, we need to see if we can get this thing running. The guy said it ran on starting fluid, and I believe him. But for the sake of having fun, let's see if it runs on some brake cleaner. Just gotta be a little generous with it. Now that she's down the gullet, let's see if this thing fires up. Now, I would put this thing down off the table, but you know, what's the fun in that? That sounded beautiful. Maybe I should put this thing on the ground. Gotta get the pristine solo cameraman angles, and let's see if this thing starts right up. Maybe let's try a little more go-go juice. I think I see the problem. It's not actually getting to the carburetor, so let's see if we can get it in there. Actually, let's just give her a little tip, right? Get her down in there. What if I just pour straight gas down it? Really? Not even off the straight gasolineage? Alright, safe to say that puppy's not gonna start. Let's tear open that carb. Isn't this just a beautiful sight? Spiderweb City. I mean, I don't know if this is a good or bad thing, but I'm pretty sure it's just this coil here, because look, that's not a good sign. It's a good sign, but it's not a good thing to be rubbing like that. I think we need to sand these down and set the distance, but they look intact. They don't look split or anything, so it's a good day. Now, let's take some trusty, musty, crusty, dusty sandpaper out the back pocket and sand these little tips of the coil down. Because, you know, sometimes that's all it takes. And if it's just that, I'm going to put a very big smile on my face. And not even on purpose. It's just going to go on my face because that's how happy I will be. I will be so happy that I will have an irresistible smile on my face from how happy it makes me that this mower starts. So, after cleaning that coil a little bit and guzzling a little carb clean down the intake, let's see if she starts. Now that right there is the sound of promise. I forgot to film it, but I tore down the rest of this carb, and it was disgusting. You can kind of see the remnants of the green goop that was in it. I mean, you can kind of also tell by this brass float. I mean, when's the last time you've seen a brass float in a carburetor? This is literally my first time seeing one. All right, so now that everything's sparkly, let's put this carb back together. I have been trying to find a needle in a haystack for literally the last 2.5 hours, and I finally found it. So as you can see, I cleared out all the gravel from there because I dropped the needle from the carb in the gravel, and it literally just disappeared. And I sifted through all of this gravel, and then finally, on this last bucket, I was just rummaging around, and here it is. I'm putting that in the container right there. That is not going anywhere. Now, after putting everything back together, I went to go start it, and it didn't work. Then I checked over here and realized the throttle isn't supposed to crisscross from this side to this side. This whole plate is supposed to be over here, where the throttle is. So, the whole throttle system isn't working. Like, as soon as I pull on this... Okay, forget what I said just there, because I may or may not have been lying. I didn't mean to, I just wasn't aware. I said that the throttle linkage was supposed to be on this side, when it was really on this side. Because it wasn't running, and that's the only thing that I could see wrong with it, I completely believed myself. But, all that was wrong with it is this little throttle isn't getting pulled back enough. Because as soon as I push back that throttle, even just a tiny bit, and then give it a pull... Now to make this as easy as possible, we're just going to take these little pliers and try and bend that little tab. Little bit of finagling and I think we got it. Now when I pull this back, it opens all the way and there's no play when it closes. So I think she's going to run perfectly now. May or may not be getting a little sidetracked. I'm taking a wire wheel to the top of the freaking head because it is gunked up. I suspected that probably nobody's ever taken this thing off since it came from the factory. So it could use a little cleanup. Clean up I did. Look at that. I wasn't able to get the top bit because I was eating up the gasket, but I also got the top of the piston and the valves nice and spick and span. Now let's throw that thing right on there. See how this baby runs. And now that we got the throttle set up, the top of the head nice and clean, let's give her a go. Boom! A lot has happened since I got that thing running. For some reason, it stopped running again. I couldn't tell you why, but I took the carb apart again, and there somehow was more dirt in there. Maybe because I ran it without the air filter on. That's probably why. So I went to go clean it. Easy peasy, right? And when I went to go tighten the bolt down, I tightened it down, everything, and then I went to go make sure it was extra tight, because it kept on leaking gas out the bottom, even after replacing the gasket. And then... yeah, it snapped. And my original plan was to take this engine and swap it onto this deck and then sell it like that. But because we gotta wait for the part for that, and I don't feel like waiting, I've got the carburetor for this one, so let's get it running and then swap it onto the better deck. Out with the old and in with the new. Okay, a little update on that mower. I put the new carb on and it started up fine, but then it started redlining completely, and then it shut off. Turns out I forgot to put the governor spring back on. So I put that back on, but then I realized that the oil smelled like gas. That was not good, as well as the pull cord was impossible to pull, so I thought it was hydrolocked. Turns out it wasn't hydrolocked, and the valves might have been messed up, so I redid the valves, still was hard to pull, and then I literally tracked down every little problem, and then eventually led myself to thinking it was the decompression spring that's attached to the crankshaft. Now, it's physically attached to the crankshaft. So if I were to get a replacement, I can't just replace the spring, I have to replace the whole entire crankshaft, which is something that I'm not willing to do right now because a new one cost $125. So, I've gotten pretty lucky and was able to acquire this Briggs & Stratton rototiller. Now, apparently it runs, works, it just needs redone fuel lines and maybe a carb clean, which are two simple, easy things I can do. I'm probably going to repaint the rust on the bottom here, and there's a few other things I might need to touch up, but after, I should be able to sell it for like $3 grand. But before we do any of that, we need to make sure that it starts and runs as it should. Ugh. The gas smells like Okay, after giving her a good amount of pulls, she isn't starting as good as I thought she would. So, let's turn to that carburetor. I busted open the carburetor and the float is looking super gummy. But I mean, it doesn't compare to the bowl. It also like, it smells like rat poop and oil. Now I completely forgot to tell you guys, I sold the Toro Personal Pace Lawnmower for $250 smackaroonies. Now, that brings our total to $779.29. So, I think this is probably a good area to end the video off. We built the shop, we fixed and sold a couple lawnmowers, and we have a ton of projects that we're just waiting on parts for. And I would just jump cut to when we have the parts and fix them, but I think it would be better suited for another video. Now I'll see you guys in the next one. Have a good night.